there. And Vertex, is he going to pick a hybrid map? Or I mean, he banned Citadel, so I don't think it's likely he'll pick Inside Out. Maybe he will. Inland, okay. The AOE one, Class Eco of Inland. And like I said, the third map will be Highland, as is tradition. Well, normally it's the first map we do Highland, actually, but Highland being part of the map pool by default is a tradition, I guess. And then we get ourselves into the Civ draft in a moment. Here we go. So yeah, just to clarify with everyone, they're going to get 4 civs each, but these 4 civs only apply to the first 2 maps. And then Wattle said that he wants the third map to be any civ goes. Why is my name like that? Vertex just went AOE2 CM always shows a random name. Look at mine. Yeah, good one, Vertex. Okay, we changed takeaway. Very good. You can just set your name up here. That's how you do it. You just literally. Apparently, I'm Dinbo Ling. Interestingly, I can't actually get off this. I guess we'll do this. So Latvia, will it be Latvia and Shang banned? Oh yeah, because one of the things when normally we have the bans hidden, so like. It's possible in our series that we played in the past that they both could ban the same civ. This obviously means that just both bans are in the open, so two different civs will definitely ban. It is the Latvia and the Shang banned out straight away. Vertex, Bongo picking Yamato straight away. Minoan's picked up. What was our maps? Inland. Interesting. Okay. I guess yeah, with Latvia and Shang already gone, it makes the first pick priority not feel too important. Yamato, I think, is the best of the rest, so I don't mind Vertex taking that. I keep reading Vertex here, but I don't mind Bongo taking that. Hittites chosen. That seems a little bit odd for me. I guess it doesn't matter too much if like they're using 4 civs for 2 maps, so we kind of have spare civs. Might be just a denial pick as well. Persians make some sense for Oasis. Actually, that could be. I think that's a good denial pick as well. So I think Yamato and Persian are considered best two civs. Karth, I feel like Vertex is drafting like DE draft, and Bongo is drafting Return of Road draft. So Vertex, Phoenicians, I guess, is left here. Probably the best civ still available. I don't agree with the Assyrians. Like I said, they are slightly stronger in the community patch now. But I feel like the Assyrians is one of the civs that kind of just needs a little bit sort of a rethink to balance out the civ a bit better. Yeah, that's fair, Wattle. That makes some sense. But yeah, Phoenician's still available, and that is what is grabbed by Bongo. I feel like Bongo's got an absolute ridiculous draft here. Like I said, Persians only on certain maps, but when Oasis in the pool, I feel like the Persians is more of a denial pick away. I could see Inland, Karth Inland, Yamato for Oasis, I think for Bongo, and then I have no idea what we do with Vertex. I guess Minoans for Inland and just hope that there's a good amount of water, and Oasis. I wouldn't want to pick any of these civs on Oasis, honestly. Maybe the Assyrians on Oasis? Maybe he's got some weird Palmyran strat up his sleeve that I'm not smart enough to know about. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by Vertex's draft here, but maybe he can just come out and prove us all wrong. Okay, I think we're just setting up the lobby now. Okay, they're just comparing the pings. I think maybe East US is probably going to be the best one. But yeah, Vertex in Peru, so his best server is Brazil. But then Bongo's in the Netherlands, I believe. So his best servers are the European ones. So I think East US is probably going to be the go-to here. Vertex has got Australia Southeast as a server option, which I didn't even know Australia had dedicated servers. I guess it makes sense. I guess West US is more balanced, actually. But East US, they both have better pings on. Yeah, okay, Vertex goes to the one with the better pings. There's a slight ping disadvantage for Vertex, but they both get better pings. So I'd rather play on better pings than more equal ping, unless it's like a huge disparity, which it's not here. And now we'll just get the lobby set up, and then we will go. So I think we will be doing Vertex's map first. I think it's Inland will be the first lobby, as we get to my favourite AOE2 soundtrack song. Apparently this track's called The Mountain Temple. Yes, like I said, just getting on in the lobby. Okay, actually they're going in Sahara. That's not correct. Hopefully they sort that out. I could do that. I've never thought to do that before. To be fair, sometimes like the map drafts are like so big that it fills up like the entire screen. Rookie caster. I like how this one just does this Lady Great Skull 0. What happens if I refresh that? Will that? No, still. What about if I replay it? No, still just. Currently hovering Sahara. I guess it doesn't really matter too much, I guess. I'll just give him a quick tag just in case. They are quite similar maps, though Oasis is a lot more elephant food, where Sahara is a lot more berry bushes. but they are both quite open maps. Obviously Oasis is much more open map. Occasionally you do get a Sahara map that's there we go, they changed the map to Oasis. Occasionally you do get a Sahara spawn where it's kind of possible to wall up if your opponent gives you enough time. But yeah, I think both players in the lobby, all settings sorted out. Data mod ROR Community Patch. Looks good to me. Looks good to me. Let's get this going for the second Showmatch series. Anytime now. So yeah, thanks for everyone that's joined us. Like I said, it's been a little while since I last streamed. Wattle organised these little Showmatch events around the Wololo tournament, and hopefully. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm idly clicking buttons here. Hopefully, yeah, some new players might filter in. Maybe they saw the Willow event, thought, yeah, I'll check out some Return of Rome again. So, it'd be good if some of the players, casual players, get some maybe lobbies later tonight when they've got some free time. I'm going to have to go make some din-dins for myself after this match. I've been streaming for 3.5 hours at this point. We'll probably be at maybe 4.5 by the time this series is over, but that's all good. It's not too late here yet, it's only 20 past 5 in the evening. Like I said, it's a little bit of a shame that none of the players from our community could be involved with the Wololo event, but like I said, if we can take a positive out from it, maybe it is that we just get a small influx of players to try and take advantage of that. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. So they're going to the Inland map. I think I did say that, but then it was just that they were hovering Sahara, and so I thought it doesn't matter too much the order as long as we play Highland last, I guess. Like it's not a high stakes tournament or anything. We're just it's a little bit of money on the line, but it's just mostly for fun. And then, yeah, it looks like they will be launching now, hopefully. I've got like 1 million tabs open now. Because I've got like split tabs on my other screen as well, so I can see AOE2 Rex and the Twitch chat. Let's look at them all. And there we go, we're into the game. So I will mute the music and we'll go back to this view momentarily whilst I load us in. I'm going to the inland map, and it is the Minoans against the Carthaginians, which was my suspected picks for the map. Do we have a delay? No, we don't. We're going to go straight in. So I will get us to capture age, which is here. There aren't any restarts. There are no restarts. That was put in the description. Okay, so inland here, there is quite a lot of water on this map. Occasionally, we usually get a lot of these pools. Occasionally, we get a river, but this time we've actually got a full outer layer of the water. Well, not layer, you know what I mean. Ocean. And Vertex has fortunately spawned on the more watery side of the map, I guess. The Bongo has immediately got himself a storage pit. It's a little bit far away from the box turtles there, but you could probably I reckon you could probably argue for these two being fine to haul over to that without too much difficulty. But yeah, 2 crossings for this one. So a lot of times they're just like connected by land, the players. But if players can control the crossings here, for Vertex especially, this could be quite good. But that said, Bongo's very close to this crossing here, so it's very unlikely that he's going to lose control of this crossing. So they kind of have a crossing each for each player. Hiya, Naz. It is picked Civ, so both of these players have picked their civilizations here. Vertex potentially got a little bit lucky, just because sometimes the inland spawns can feel more inland than other inland spawns. Sometimes you get very little water on inland, sometimes you get quite a bit. But yeah, this is definitely a map spawn with a lot more water on it. But yeah, Carthaginians just have that strong, excuse me, what am I trying to say? Generally strong start, there we go, words. With the extra starting resources, they're just decent on pretty much any map from the beginning of the game. I think it's only with like kind of more closed maps where they're not so great, just because their Bronze Age bonuses don't tend to be that strong on those maps. Just yeah, the camels aren't very strong on closed maps, for example. But yeah, neither player going for dock just yet. It looks like Vertex is just going to put a storage pit maybe like here. Some of the Gazelle going a little bit right. Storage pit surely coming down at some point. No, maybe just doesn't have the wood. No, it has 150 wood. What he doing? What he doing here? There we go. That is maybe not the best placement. I guess maybe some of the Gazelle ran to where he wanted to place that, but it's not the best for wood in the future. Obviously, it's near the wood, but you'd want it ideally right up against it. And already got a villager going forward that I hadn't seen slip through there. And by both players, in fact. Looks like they didn't quite spot each other. Artifact is grabbed there. But Bongo will... I was going to say will find the crossing, but will he? He obviously knows about this crossing here. It's not plugged up. Maybe you could have put a dock here. He's on the way up to Tool Age. Quite a significant amount of time quicker than his opponent. A lot of, 56 seconds of idle time for Vertex there. Obviously, the Carthaginians with the extra 50 food at the start of the game makes it easier to click that time faster. But 20 pop up for both players. Barracks going up forward. Yeah, he did spot the house there. And the barracks slightly in the wrong position for Bongo. He is going to find that crossing now and going to find the artifact. So I think he should find his opponent fairly quickly, and he's going to be up to Tool Age faster. But does this villager get spotted? It does momentarily, but was Bongo paying attention to this part of the map? Small wall going in straight away for Bongo. He can, okay, so he's going to dock block that. He can stone wall here, but obviously this barracks already out in the way, and barracks on his opponent's face, and yeah, it looks like Vertex hasn't quite spotted this, but we are going to go for full on aggression. This clubman doesn't have any upgrades, so the villagers don't really need to run here. Okay, there we go. I think Bongo's realised now. He's going to just grab the elephant for the time being, though. And it's just a house and Tool Age in for both players, and leather armour going in as well. Okay, it looks like Vertex is on the water now as well, taking advantage of that Minoan bonus. Remember, both players can research needleworking, which makes the clubbers a lot easier to deal with, especially because it doesn't look like either player is actually committing to axe. Okay, there we go. I was going to say committing to the Axer upgrade, but Bongo is doing that now. And this does have the armour in, but 3 villagers more than a match for 1 clubber. Axer coming in now, a little bit late for Vertex. And I think villager might go down here. Okay, manages to pull that away into that TC. Probably pop that 1 villager back in the TC. There we go. Very nicely done. And let's have a look at the attack on this side. So Axe upgraded did come in a lot sooner for Bongo, even if his attack was slightly slower. Vertex probably going to try and wall up behind himself here. I would not be surprised to see. He's not doing that for the moment, though. Yeah, we go. Finally does that now, just before the axes swoop round. So well timed there, and he does get a little bit built on each wall section. So these axes should not be able to come through. Ooh, that stone wall was, small wall was very low. One villager did get picked off fire by Vertex. I don't know if that just... I think it was just that low health villager. Bowman should be able to, take out the axe there. Slingers are already coming forward, though. And yeah, another barracks was built. So yeah, double barracks forward, single archery range in defense. So now that we are moving into the slingers, Bongo needs to be a little bit more careful. Bongo's still trying to push the aggression. He's going to build a dock over here. Scout ship is already on the way for Vertex, though, so he should be able to defend from this in the water. What's going on over here? It's just another storage pit. I guess just keep some of the villagers a little bit more out of the way. Let's have barracks still up there. How many slingers do we have now? It's 3 slingers. No stone mining as of yet. I don't think there's markets being built yet. A couple of villagers. Yeah, he's not going to... I was going to say, probably don't want to open that gate. So villagers jump back into the TC. Let's have a look back here. So yeah, it's plink down the house. Here we go. 100 HP instead of 75 on the new patch. So a little bit more durable. So it's a lot more difficult to just house your opponent by taking all those out. So one bowman doing a pretty good job at distracting all these slingers. Okay, Vertex does finally notice that. But we do have 4 fishing boats on the water so far for Vertex. Like I said, the scout ships probably not going to be able to get too much done. Okay, Vertex has actually a house now, so this is going to be a minor annoyance for him. But Bongo is still not on the water yet. He is actually still grabbing those turtles. Has all these units in the front of his face, though. I think he's going to need to get... Oh, sorry, he does have the dock there. I mentioned this earlier because I said about the dock block. I mean, just hadn't noticed that again. Foolish boy. Rusty brain. But yeah, I was going to see a little bit of a battle here. Okay, so Bongo did manage to jump out and get first hit. But yeah, another 3rd scout ship should make this fairly one-sided. And looks like Vertex... I mean, the point score saying Bongo in the lead... I feel like Vertex, for my money, is in the more commanding position. Yep, scout ships do get cleared up. And he can just take down this dock now if he wishes. Bowman just chilling here. I don't know if this is just because maybe Bongo's potentially just explored a bit of the map, so it's just the AOE2 scoring system. Give him a bit of the edge. But yeah, a bit more small wall was built up behind that gate before it went down. So Bongo still somewhat safe for the time being. He's going to use his bows to try and pick off a couple of axes, but the slinger's still trying to chip away there. Still no stone mining is coming in now, though, actually, that said. So those slingers would now actually match the range of the bows. So the bows are going to be very limited in their effectiveness now. And yeah, Vertex, very small eco lead, but the Minoans obviously going to be able to just pump out cheaper fishing boats, as well as the scout ships that he's still committing to. Obviously, we can see. I mean, actually, that said, it's got 4 fishing scout ships being built up of these 7 docks here. So maybe it is wise to keep building a few scout ships. Bunch of axes jumping into the fray again, though. Not sure what that was, but a couple of more villagers going down. I think most of those were bowmen. But yeah, I think Bongo is going to be a little bit trapped here, and in fact, yeah, he does delete the wall to escape. So archer range is going to go down. Probably wants to try and wall from here to here to close off this section, and then so he does. Is he going to get that in timing, though? And the scout ships will be able to do a good amount of damage to defend here as well, actually. So yeah, he should just focus down the slingers here, just so that they aren't messing around with the villagers. Because the scout ships do 5 damage, which does mean you can overmatch that 3 Pierce armor to some degree. Scout ships kind of need to be here though. Yeah, woodworking would be very nice for Bongo here, but he's doesn't really have time to get that market down. It's another dot going up the back. It's one bowman just being a little bit pesky, but yeah, one scout ship can just go and deal with that. See you, bowman. Another dock going up for Vertex. Bongo is managing to hold position for time, but yeah, this sling is just being continuously annoying. Another villager goes down. And Bongo only has 15 stone left. Another villager. I don't know if that just came out of the TC, but I think it's going to get taken down, unfortunately. It's going to didn't make it back to the TC. And yeah, they have 41 eco to 24 now. So yeah, now the points difference definitely in Vertex's favour. And yeah, I'm not sure what more Bongo's going to be able to do. He does get the market up. Does have the resources for woodworking. He does click it, in fact, already. But again, these slingers are just being pesky. Another villager gets picked off there. Bongo just like being forced into it. It's like almost he needs to like stonewall here to just stop his villagers. Oh man, this is a little bit painful to see. Like I said, this makes you wonder how far Vertex maybe could have gone in the Clash tournament if he didn't do a no-show. Obviously, this is only game 1 of 3. Both players, I think, probably a little bit rusty. Another villager gets picked off, though. Okay, we see a little bit of a push on the water. That's 6 versus 6, though, with these scout ships getting involved. And yeah, Vertex can just easily add in more scout ships. So if he loses a few villagers here, that could be pretty bad. Okay, just migrates out. And we see a little bit of an engage on the water. I think that's 7 to 6 now. A couple of these ships are damaged, but just the numbers are going to make the difference here. And in fact, yeah, Vertex has built another dock here. He's going to lose these couple of ships here. But I think Vertex will just add in a few more. And yeah, woodworking as well for himself. Probably just finish these off and then like start pushing down the little river here. Well, it was kind of like I was saying to Unrestricted earlier. It's like I feel like because the Vietnamese, the Vietnamese community, Rise of Rome players, they only really practice the very early game of RTR just because it's not the version of the game they usually play. Where it's like, obviously Vertex and Bongo are much more familiar with the game, so it's like once you get out of the early game, they have a better idea of what you should move into and what strategies you should go into, whereas the Rise of Rome players kind of have one early game strategy and then it just kind of freestyling from there. But yeah, like I said, it is a shame that we couldn't see people like Cool and stuff playing in that series. But it is what it is. The Rise of Rome players have a lot of viewership in Vietnam, and Red Bull probably want to take some advantage of that to promote themselves. And Bongo's actually going to be able to clear up a lot of the axes here, but again, these slingers, I think he's just going to be able to squeeze them through, and GG is called. But yeah, I think Vertex, it felt like he was in a fairly commanding position for pretty much most of this game. Like I said, there was that point where he was lower on score. I think it was just before this point. Yeah, like around here it was. But he just had the push here. Bongo didn't really have the military to contest. And yeah, when he just had the scout ships ready to defend his fish boom on the water as well. And like I said, a little bit maybe lucky for his map spawn for the Minoans. Personally, I wouldn't take Minoan. I guess like in the series he drafted, it makes sense to pick the Minoans here, but generally speaking, I'd pick Minoans in like a more guaranteed water spawn like Continental or something like that. But yeah, Vertex playing well here. Gets himself 1 game on the board. Yeah, it's just a kind of it is what it is situation. Naz. Like I said, I think the best we can do to try and take advantage of the situation is just hope that some people watched the series will allow thought maybe I'll give Return of Rome another go, and hopefully some people will put up some lobbies and get maybe a few more people playing the game. It's just everyone's just a very unforgiving game. I think is one of its biggest problems. So like if you're a new player to everyone, it's very sort of very cutthroat to try and get into and learn, just because of like how sharp the game is and how difficult it is to defend. But yeah, so second map now. I guess I can take us back to the drafts. So it should be Vertex's. I'm so confused by the map. My brain just like it should be okay. So it should be Bongo's map now, which is Oasis. So we've done inland. So Oasis should be the next map. And we saw Vertex win with the Minoans and a loss from the Carthaginians. Yeah, true. Yeah, for sure. So Oasis, like I said, I think I keep reading Vertex. This is so annoying. I think Bongo has both the top 2 civs I think what most players consider the top 2 civs of this map after the Persians and Yamato. So he has the pick of the litter, so to speak. I think personally, I slightly prefer the Yamato just because the Persians feel like you have to get that damage done in the early game, and if you don't do that, it's very easy to start falling behind against some stronger civilizations. Whereas the Yamato, even though they're slightly slower out of the gate, once you get into that tool age and once you're set up, they're just a very strong and consistent civ. Again, Vertex, I'm a little bit... His civ picks feel a little bit suspect to me here. Oasis is a very open map, and none of these civs are very strong early game civs. Maybe he tries some Palmyran shenanigans, but against the Yamato, I think that's going to be quite difficult. Assyrians, if you can get yourself ahead, you can try and utilize those bowmen to do a lot of damage. But it's just very easy for an opponent to just sit on slingers in the early game against both of these civs, and then just like let a stronger eco carry you forward. If Hittites, I mean, like I say, either of these civs, in fact, any of these three civs, if they can get themselves to the Bronze Age, then they can be in a good position if they're not too far behind. But I just feel like Yamato, it's on Oasis especially, it's so easy to just get to the tool age, put down stable, spam those scouts, and then follow that up with archery range bows as well. You just got so many bonuses working in your favour as the Yamato there. And we're just waiting for them to launch the game. It looks like they're both in the lobby now, so we shouldn't have to wait too much longer. I guess pulls Palmy. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me he pulls out the Palmyrans. I'm thinking Assyrians is going to be the pick, but honestly, like I said, I don't really like any of this. Yeah. I was like, when I was casting it, I was literally about to say the ponds run out, and then you just GD'd, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, looks like the game is going on. Has been launched now, so I'll get us in. And yeah. So it is the Assyrians from Vertex, and it is the Yamato from Bongo. So Wait, have I closed Capture Age like a banana? I think I closed it and then forgot to reopen it. Just get that Capture Age back in. There we go. But yeah, so the Assyrians, I've gone on record to say I think it's like the worst civ in the game, personally. We have slightly buffed the Assyrians in the community patch, so they have a little bit more of their fire rate bonus back in the earlier phase of the game again. But yeah, Bongo on the Yamato, who again, like I said, I considered definitely one of the top civilizations on this particular map, just because it's very often that you're very open on these maps, as you can see. No real feasible way of walling your whole base. Sometimes you can, like, do, if you, I don't know, a storage pit on your wood, and you can do close walls to protect your lumberjacks and lumberjills, so to speak. But you're never going to be able to. Actually, that's saying maybe Vertex could like wall here to here, then try and make some sort of. But it's still a stretch, I would say. But yeah, Bongo already finding one of his elephants. He's got another one a bit to the south, a bit to the north as well. But it's just focusing on pushing the gazelle for the time being. Syrians do get the faster moving villagers, but it can help for a bit of early scouting, but other than that it doesn't make a huge difference. Likely ban evader. That's an interesting thing. It's interesting that I seem to get so many weird, like, I guess they just go around to all the streams trying to post for like bot viewers or whatever it is, but I would have thought my stream's not really big enough to attract that sort of attention. Maybe that's exactly what we're looking for, those people with smaller streams, but anyway, we'll get that banned. Oh dear, dude. I mean, to be fair, you did the secondary elephant, because Cool found the actual central elephant, but the secondary elephant were both luckily on your side of the map, so I think you did find them both. So you both got 4 elephant each in the end. Although I think you found those 2 middle elephant like way later. I didn't see exactly when you did grab them, but I did see like when you had them around the TC. But yeah, both to focus back on this game, Vertex has clicked up a little bit earlier, 18 seconds, so a small advantage accrued there. But yeah, barracks built at home, and where is the barracks for Bongo? Is this villager here going to put a barracks down? No wood for Bongo. So it's going to be a little bit slow getting that building up. So maybe Vertex will be able to get a couple of clubbers on the field. Unless he's just going to try... Yeah, no, he does go for a couple of clubbers. That's smart. But yeah, Bongo. Just a little bit out of... gone the wrong direction, but he is homing in quickly. And he does have the wood for a barracks now, so I think it would be a good idea to just plonk the barracks down wherever. Okay, he's putting it back at home, fair enough. And then I would not be surprised if we see the stable come down pretty much as soon as Bongo hits the tool age. Obviously, Vertex slightly faster. Clubber's just going to be in defense. I think Vertex is going to need to get the axe upgrade in fairly soon, as he should be suspecting scouts here, though that said, he's gone double archery range, and he may be screwed, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he is double archery range, but yeah, scouts definitely going to come. Okay, Axer is coming in, and he does have 3 clubbers, and like I say, it's reasonably well able to defend the wood line here for the time being. The problem is going to be when these elephants run out, where is he going to get his food from? Berry's pretty much denied already at the top side. Has Bongo actually seen his opponent? Not quite, but the scout will spot it straight away. And already with tool working in, armor upgrade coming in. And yeah, axes are on the prowl. Actually going to get a couple... Ooh, but not quite. I thought we were going to get a couple of good hits in there. But the scout going to have a little bit of a pick at that villager there. Yeah, the bowman not going to be too useful here. And Vertex has tried to make a sort of little bit of an error, but like I said, he's going to try and... So yeah, he has seen the gazelle there, but if Bongo spots this, it's going to be bad news bears. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh, it stopped. We're hanging in the balance. Oh, he's turned around. Big game moment. Storage pit goes down. Some high octane scout movement there. Market does go down. And do we see a push? It's just a single Axer forward. Granary going down. He does have archery range at home, already a couple of bows there, so should be fairly easy to defend himself. Scouts don't even need to take this fight, they can just keep running around. In fact, another archery range is built on this side as well, I hadn't noticed that. But yeah, this pocket of villagers here, if this ever gets found, Vertex is in big trouble. It's a lion being a little bit pesky there. And archery range, oh, okay, so these farmers are going to get a little bit harassed, but he just jumps in. Again, a couple of axes wisely positioned by Vertex to try and defend here. And I think, yeah, if Vertex just focuses down the axes with the bows, and he can try and pick off the opponent's bows with his scouts. A little bit of micro back and forth here from the players. And, let's have a look. Slight eco edge has crept in the advantage of Vertex, as he has got those farms set up. But again, militarily, just with these scouts on the field, it just makes it a little bit difficult for Vertex. I think Bongo may be throwing away a few more bowmen than he should be here. I think Vertex has got a pretty nice fight for himself. And a few extra axes come forward. Yeah, I think Bongo probably should just kept pulling back the bows there. And just using his... Oh man, this is not good by Bongo. He's thrown away all of his advantage. All the scouts go down. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, when you have the scouts, you're the one in command of the trades there. You pick when the fights, but Bongo a little bit sloppy. And that's going to relieve a lot of pressure off of Vertex. And he has, like I said, sort of made himself this little enclosure. Obviously, it's not actual walls, but those 100 HP houses, like I've been saying, a bit more durable these days. Scouts will take quite a while to punch through those. It looks like, yes, market, what am I trying to say? Farms are being set up by Bongo now. But Vertex, slight lead on the eco front. And now a large lead on the military front as well. And he's going to be able to clear up a few of these buildings. Small wall is being researched now. A couple more scouts still around to be tricky. But yeah, we go wall, house to block off and complete the wall there. And I think these scouts, he has a little bit overchop there. But needleworking isn't okay. Vertex is on it. And yeah, I think Vertex is now in a position where he can probably think about trying to push his opponent back. 13 bows now. Like I said, the Assyrian bonus has been buffed 22% in the tool age now. So they do a lot of damage. Bongo may need to consider... Oh, it looks like, yeah, it's just going straight to bronze. I was going to say maybe adding some slingers, but you just had the food to collect the bronze. Vertex has been investing very heavily in the military now. And I guess maybe enough idle time caused by these scouts that even though Vertex had a few extra villagers for a while, that Bongo's maybe... Actually, let's have a look in fact. We can have a look-see. Okay, so Vertex still has collected a bit more resources. But yeah, a lot more food committed to the military here. And yeah, already on to the gold. So it's going to be those Yamato cheaper cavalry units. But here's the forward push now. It might be a little bit too slow. Maybe took a bit too long just clearing up those buildings in front of his base. Scouts, are the maybe? Yeah, so he spots the food now. But Vertex has very wisely already walled this up, and that Bongo could have won the game on the spot if he found this. But obviously he didn't know that was there. And Bronze Age. How many stables do we have at home? We have 2 stables at home. I think this army is big enough that maybe you probably need about 5 cavalry units, I think, to deal with this. Maybe 4 would do it if you have all the upgrades. How much food is it on 1 berry bush? That's a good question. Let's try and find some berry bushes that have not been tampered with. 150. Yeah, a few villagers forced to run. 1 goes down. But we are in the Bronze Age now. Vertex up to the bronze himself. There's enough food in the bank that we can make about 6. 2 in queue, 2 in the map, and then 2 more to create. So we can make 6. Actually, has he made a cavalry unit forward, actually? I didn't check that. He's deleting the house. Let himself out. Storage pit going up on the gold. And it's just the leftover tool age units. So yeah, 4 cavalry units out on the field now. Vertex, in fact, just doesn't even bother about continuing the push. He decides to just try and defend at home. Probably knows the cavalry are coming. That's a little bit... I mean, should... Yeah, I was going to say, probably should focus the bows over the axes when you've only got 1 cavalry unit. Not the best of scout units. Scout units themselves, much better at scouting, funnily enough. And then he's going to pick off those bows now. Okay, there we go. And now those powerful Bronze Age units coming to the fore. A few axes come back. Bronze Age is in now. The Assyrians, they need the wheel to come in before they can really do anything. And that's... yeah... I mean, he could add in a few of his own cavalry units, but I don't think he has any stables. So it could just be the Yamato cavalry cracking through. I was going to say, should probably carry that on. See what's going to come in. Don't think that's going to help him too much. 1 cavalry only slipped through there. I don't know how that got in. But we're in on the villagers now. And the bows... not going to be able to do too much against the cavalry here. One of them is quite low, but I think this is enough cavalry to just mop this up. Plus 2 armor is in, but yeah, I think you can see the damage being done in real time here. There's not a huge amount of food left. Bongo might want to put a couple more lumberjacks on farms. Camel does come out. Oh yeah, I forgot Assyrians got camels. That's obviously a much better response than cavalry. So actually, the damage has been done. The defense is held. But, oh okay, actually, wow, we only lost 1 villager in all of that somehow. There was a lot of idle time forced though. And for some reason we're grouping this cavalry unit with a bow, so it's moving at the speed of a snail. Potentially what Bongo needs to do now is switch into the composite bowman. He would need to probably add in an extra... he's got a couple of archery ranges. Oh, he's actually already adding hoplites. Though hoplites don't feel like the best option against Assyrian chariot archers. I don't think That's the best play. I think for me, I think Bongo should have swapped into the composite bow and then just like keep making a few cavalry units, not loads, and just slowly transition to the composite bow. Yamato bonus does make those upgrades cheaper. But yeah, Bongo's eco is not the greatest. Yeah, he's got a lot of gold still stored up. He just needs to get more on food. It's an all-important resource for those military units. A couple of chariot archers already coming forward, and I think these hoplites are a little bit of a poor investment, to be honest. With the chariot archers hitting the field, it's so easy to just kite those hoplites around. And Bongo is going to try and get some more TCs up, but I don't think he's going to have time to do this. I mean, the wheel is in, so these villagers are always a little bit annoying to actually pin down. But I think this one's going to get caught. Oh, no, it does manage to get away. TC there is going to get denied, though. So Bongo's going to need to cancel that and build it somewhere else. There's a bit of a battle going on over here. And should easily be able to take these cavalry units down. But yeah, the hoplites, that ain't it for me. Doesn't have bronze shield in yet either. These Assyrians are now at the full 33% attack speed bonus for these Assyrian bonus to be able to do some serious damage here. Just needs to actually kite back a little bit more than he is doing. Yeah, Vertex kind of taking a few unnecessary hits here. You can just try and sit on top of the ridge line, just dance back and forth. One cavalry unit is going to push back both these chariots, though. Another scout being made. Scouts... Okay, that was a mistake, I guess. Misclick. Yeah, it's a little bit mismanaged. The thing is, like, the gold comes in so quick that, like, if you aren't constantly using the gold, it just, like, balloons so quickly. But yeah, potentially Vertex could, like, buy his way up to the Iron Age, almost, at this point. Eco... Still at about... He's not massively boosting the eco here. I don't know if he's still making... He is making villages, but he's fallen a little bit far behind. I guess, yeah, Bongo's added in the extra TC, so I guess that's what's kind of created that difference. Military numbers are still somewhat equal. We're going back into the cavalry. Again, I think these hoplites not really going to be able to get too much done. They're just... I feel like chariot archers are a pretty good answer to hoplites. Ooh. My stream is just frozen. Hopefully it just... My capture age, I should say. Hopefully capture age... Is it just frozen on me? I think capture age has unfortunately just died. Okay, no, they came back. We're back, boys. Don't worry about it. Just had a little moment there. Don't know exactly what that was about. But yeah, metalworking coming in for that +4 damage, but Vertex is continuing to mass up. I feel like he should just buy food. Like, I know the exchange rates at the market in AOE1 are pretty poor. In fact, you can see him there. I don't know if could you do that? See that before? Maybe that's another capture age improvement. So yeah, you'd sell 100 food for 49 gold. I believe that's what that means there. Although I feel like that should be 50. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Maybe some weird rounding shenanigans going there. We still have a decent amount of cavalry. These units are fairly tanky. It's 15 chariot archers at the moment. And Vertex kind of... I don't know, it feels like he's mismicroing some of the units here. The camels are obviously going to do good work against the cavalry. He's just going melee mode with the chariot archers, though. These, I think it was kind of hard to tell what was going on there. I think a few hoplites went down. Most of the cavalry have been dealt with now by the camels, and he does clear the fight up. It looked a little bit messy, but Vertex is definitely getting the upper hand here. Camels lacking for upgrades a bit, but that said, Vertex, even though he's winning the trades, Bongo is still basically completely untouched back at home. He's got himself a 16 villager lead. And a couple of bowmen being made. Again, I feel like if Bongo just added it, it's trying to switch into the composite bow. Composite bowmen are pretty good into the chariot archer if you can get them matched up. Nobility is coming in for Vertex. Sorry, for Bongo. I don't think Vertex has nobility yet. Oh no, the Syrians don't get nobility. What am I saying? But yeah, like I said, the hoplites didn't feel like they've done too much. Oh, it's some regular chariots being mixed in there. I hadn't actually noticed. I don't know if those were misclicks. It's got enough gold that you could just keep making camels. And another big brawl takes place. I think there's enough cavalry units here. Bongo's actually housed at the time being. That's limiting his production massively here. Villagers forced to run off the gold there, but Vertex has more than enough gold at this point. Don't know what we're saving all this gold for. Alright, Seka dude. Yes, very back and forth game. Feels like Bongo, just because of the eco advantage, should be able to press. Keep pressing here, I should say. 15 cavalry units now. It's only 9 chariot archers. And Vertex just a complete mismanagement of the eco here. It's been forced to move over to the wood over here. There's a lot of storage pits as well. I don't know if that's really worth building that many, when you've got wheel especially. And it feels like Vertex has just, run out of food production. He's been forced off his farms. I said maybe he should have bought the food, and I don't know, at this point it feels like he's going to be out of the game at this point with 2k gold. The camels doing some work. They don't have any armor upgrades in though. They've got a +4 damage. Something at least. Bronze shield finally coming in for those hoplites. Again, I feel like these hoplites weren't really the call, but just the weight of cavalry numbers seems to be taking this home for Bongo here. That said, a lot of cavalry units kind of going down the drain. Hoplites are picking off the camels now though. Only 1 camel left. Down to 36 vils. And GG is called. So yeah, a little bit of a strange one. I feel like Vertex, slight mismanagement of the economy, because I feel like he got himself, like, Bongo obviously got up to the Bronze Age first, and had those cavalry units coming out straight away. But like, Bongo got himself to the point where he had those camels, and he had those chariot archers. But it felt like he took a lot of clumsy trades. I'm trying to like find one of the moments. I don't know if I'm able to find one. But it felt like he like kind of went melee mode with his chariot archers a lot. And kind of got a lot of them killed. And then, yeah, just the mismanagement of the economy here. Way too much gold. Not enough food. Couldn't keep the chariot archer production going. And ultimately, just the weight of Bongo's economy was just too much for Vertex to keep up. Yeah, I think, he's getting the +4 armor in as well there. So with the +4 armor in as well, when the camels don't have any of the armor upgrades that they didn't even have at the end, they're not as an effective unit, a counter unit, into the cavalry when they don't have all the upgrades. Yeah, that is true. That's why it is very good to be on the offensive. It's like, if you're on the offensive, it means your opponent's on the defensive, right? And then it's like you're forced into these situations where you've got to keep moving your villagers around. Like I said, very early on, if this got caught by the scouts... When was that moment? There was like those 2 scouts. Was it here? little bit further on. But yeah, the scout units came here and he stopped. Like literally, if those two scouts get in here, oh mama. I guess, did he have needle working in? Oh, he did have a couple of axes there already, that said. So maybe it wouldn't have been all doom as well. Yeah, but it was quite an interesting game back and forth. Like I said, maybe Vertex could have played out that Bronze Age a bit better. Even if he just buys resources, again, it's not the best thing to do with the market exchange rates. In fact, I missed this. Vertex bought 200 food. GG. 12 seconds later. Oh dear. Oh well. Oh well. I don't know if it would have made the. It's hard to say if it made a difference just because Bongo had his eco already set up. So I don't know if he buying the food would have made enough of a difference, but obviously it would have given him a bit more of a chance, is all I'm saying. So, game 3. Like I said, we were going to play out all 3 games anyway, but it's nice to see that it is kind of the decider in the final game again in our Showmatch series here. What am I doing? Restarting capture age. I'm going to have a look. The lobby's not up just yet, so we will go back to the draft. Trying to find the other half. There we go. So, obviously Oasis. So the last map will indeed be Highland. And the players are allowed to pick whatever civ they like now. So they don't have to keep to their civ draft here. So this is kind of irrelevant, actually. Yeah, those forward temples were a little bit too much. I think the temples were a good idea, but like at home and push out with the priests. I think. Yeah, exactly. Unrestricted. Yeah. I think you didn't really make the best use of your priest that you did make at home. Although he did. Cool did come into your base, and then the priest did get some used. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, since like neither of you have probably played competitively in a while, it was still pretty good skill level games. Bongo's still noob, I'm afraid so. Morik, it is what it is. I mean, it's 1-1 in this series here. Arguably, Vertex maybe could have won that second game, but I think Bongo had decent control for most of that. So yeah, for Naz, I think like they are allowed to pick whatever civ they like now in the draft. If it was their civs left over, I think it probably would be Palmyreans against Phoenicians. Is probably what I would go. So I would agree with your idea there, but they are allowed to pick whatever civ they like for this last map. Yeah, well, that your Macedonian game was just like really on point. Yeah, I was like, why have you built it next to the wall? And I was like, oh, it's a fake. Big next level mind games. Because like, why has he made it so you can see the barracks? But yeah, because Cool had already committed that granary to that forwards berries as well, and he just pulled off it straight away. Cool did play like way too greedy in the early Bronze Age as well, though, because he just went straight for 3 TC and he had like 0 military, and I think that was like, obviously you can see the idea, but like against Macedonians, like I think you should sort of expect the Macedonians to go for some sort of push in the bronze pretty quickly. Well, that's the thing is the other thing as well is he built 2 barracks in response. And like, obviously, you need at least 1 barracks to unlock archery range and stables, but you essentially made him build an extra barracks and then wasted his granary. So that's like about 250 resources of wood wasted. So that by itself is a pretty good play. Yeah, that's the things you can do though, is try and mix things up with that sort of thing. both go Latvia, so be it. So, yeah, we're just waiting for them to make the final lobby. Just reading, yeah, the chat in the Discord. All right, yeah. So one of the questions this new joiner to Disco asks is, does anyone know why the Vietnamese community doesn't play DE or Return of Rome, and why they keep to Rise of Rome? Spear saying mainly due to money. I think it's just that's just the game they know, and they don't. There's no incentive for them to move to the newer versions of the game. Like, there's no, because there isn't a big scene for Age of Empires 1. Their scene is the biggest scene, so like they control the scene. Because like the Vietnamese Age of Empires 1 community is the biggest scene. Because like if there were a lot more Age of Empires 1 events that were like sponsored and had actual money behind it, then the Vietnamese players would be like, oh wait, there's money to be had over there. But they make all their own tournaments for Rise of Rome. And unfortunately, I don't think any of us can match the buying power that they seem to have in the Vietnamese community. So, well, I don't think that was even like I said, that was the ECG TV hosted tournament. So I don't think that was. It might have been sponsored by Microsoft, to be fair, but it wasn't like their own thing. But yeah, I think the unfortunate truth is just that the Forgotten Empires team, or whatever they're called, yeah, it's Forgotten Empires, isn't it? They have a lot of other games that are do better than Age of Empires 1. So in their eyes, it's like, why back this game that doesn't have a lot of traction behind it? But then it's like, it's a self-fulfilling cycle, right? If you don't support the game, then people don't join the game. If people don't join the game, they don't support the game. Okay, the game's up. That was weird. I could not see them making the lobby, but it's just popped up as just started now. So good job I was paying attention to that, because otherwise I would have completely missed it. So here we go into game 3 of this Showmatch series, organised by our boy Wattle. So thank you for him for sparking up some interest in the game. Oh, hang on. Failed to download match content. That's a little bit weird. What's gone wrong there? We go again. That's not good. I can't spectate for some reason. Is it bugged? Spectate game with capture age. For some reason, I cannot join the match. Can I just spectate? No, I can't. I guess try and... try and message the players, but oftentimes once they're focused on the game, it's a bit difficult to get their attention. Hopefully somebody notices. Yeah, well, and that Wattle, and they've like I said, they've already got so many like projects that they're already working on that. Like I said, I've said it before. I'm amazed that Return of Rome even ever happened. So in a way, I'm still like thanking my lucky stars that they even bothered to make the Return of Rome DLC, because this version of the game is what I wanted Age of Empires 1 DE to be. It's just a bit of a shame that there's some of the older DE players don't like Return of the Rome that much, just because they don't like the AOE2 style as much. And then obviously AOE2 itself gets the lion's share of the attention. Let me just try and restart my game real quick, see if that works. Well, this would be an unfortunate end to the day if I didn't get to show the last map. I guess if it comes to it, I can just show the replay. I'll put the music back on for now, just so we're not listening to nothing. Yeah, well, for me, the best thing DE did was that there was just like quite a few balance changes, and that improved the game for me. But it didn't do enough like quality of life changes, like adding the formations and gates and things like that. They're just simple things that I felt like should be part of the game. Especially as like historically, like Roman phalanxes and formations is like what made the Roman military so strong, or whatever, right? Throughout history. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get in the game. That's what I'm trying to do. Oh, okay. I think I'm in now. I don't know. Maybe there was like some AOE thing update. Okay, we're in boys and girls. Ooh, let's make sure I don't miss all the match here. Slow that down. We'll go a little bit faster. Sorry, I've just got a million tabs open now. So we are having a shang off on Highlands. I'm a little bit behind now, just for some reason. Oh, actually, let me check. Just in case that one of them does look at the messages. Yeah, we're a little bit behind just because I have a few issues. Looks like Bongo managed to grab a whole bunch of the early elephants. In fact, let me just skip back real quick. Okay, so it's 2 from the center, 1 of his own. The other two central ones a little bit off to the right here. In fact, both players on the top side of the map. I'll just skip back here. Artifact is going to do a little bit of exploration. But yeah, Bongo's found both of his elephants, 2 from the center. Is Vertex going to find his opponent? It's quite unusual that both players are like this top side of the map. Sometimes it happens where, like, if Bongo was here, Vertex would be maybe like here. But I feel like it's quite unusual that he's like this far into the corner. Vertex also has a very closed off area of his map. Bongo's is actually reasonably closed off the front, though the back of his base is a little bit more exposed. Let's say wall here, here. That's a pretty nice base. You got extra berries at the back there, extra gold at the back as well, should the game go long. But yeah, both players as the Shang, still, even with a few nerfs in the community patch, still one of the strongest things in the game, just that cheaper build bonus, just very, very strong. Oh, I didn't know that, Wattle. Didn't know you did some of the AI stuff. That's interesting to see. Well, I think that I've said it before, one of the biggest limitations DE had as well was that I think it had limited map slots. And if you wanted to change the maps, you literally had to replace a certain map type with a different map script file. So you were like actually capped at the number of maps and civs you could add into the game. Yeah. So like moving it all onto RTR or into the AOE2 engine meant that they could just do a lot more with the game if they wanted to. It just so happens that unfortunately they've not done much more with the game. But yeah, Bongo is going for those walls, as I said, so he identified that he had a quite nice map. Vertex closed walls. I think he should have just walled here and here, but I guess that means he's less likely to get early raided. Trying to club away at the stable here. If some real action kicks off, I will go back to regular speed. Like I said, we are actually just fast Bronze Age from Bongo here. And Scouts did come out. Shang, you have a little bit of extra food floating. He's just going to be able to repair the stable here. Slinger at the back. Bowman all the way at his own base here. So Bongo is just going to get a free Bronze Age. Is that just going to decide the game on the spot, more or less? Like, Vertex is so far away from reaching Bronze Age himself. Bongo doesn't have a huge amount of gold. He's at town centres. He's just going to boom? He's just going to boom. Is he going to boom? Is it extra TCs? Are we going to see cavalry? I don't know. We've not really got the food for booming. I think we might see a TC come down here. That was a very nice spot for a TC. A little bit of engage. A couple of the ranged units. Oh, okay, didn't fancy the stone. The wood, I should say. 0 farm triple TC. Yeah, a little bit lacking for the food production. I don't mind maybe 2 TCs, just hover on that and then try and push a little bit with the cavalry. I just always feel like if you get to the Bronze Age, I mean, I guess you just free boom if you get there first, but has he even scouted his opponent? Maybe you just thought his opponent was fully walled as well. I feel like you'd at least try to go with the cavalry and try and get something done. Instead, he's just going to try and clear up the Tool Age army. Bronze Age is coming in for Vertex as well now. They're both from the same villages. Like I said, he just doesn't really have the food eco set up at the moment. Actually, we have gone up to live again. We've managed to catch up. (2v2) tourney. I think we'd have to get a lot of players to come back for a 2v2 tourney, but I guess it's maybe could incentivize some action. Obviously, sort of 2v2 has the advantage where it's like if you're 1v1, it's has to be very hyper focused in the whole game. Like one small mistake can feel like you lose the whole game, whereas 2v2, I was going to say maybe a bit more forgiving, but maybe that isn't really true to be fair, because you can just like 2v1 someone in an earlier game and just push him out of the game. But yeah, Vertex is to the Bronze Age now. Bongo has the 5 cavalry, has got to get, and is going to get nobility out as well. Also, already has the wheel, has made a single chariot archer. A little bit splurged. I guess a few of it's remnants of his Tool Age army. But Vertex just going straight into the camel, which is probably a good shout. And we may see both players transition into the camel. That's one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of mirror matches, because a lot of times the players kind of just match what each other does, and then it's just kind of like who has the better macro and eco behind it. Which is a skill in itself, obviously, macro. But it's just a little bit less interesting to watch, I would argue. But yeah, upgrades are all coming in straight away for Vertex, so these camels are the real deal. I don't think I've saw the nobility coming yet, though. But he's not. I think he can afford it soon. I can't remember how much gold nobility costs. A bit of an engage here. Camels aren't quite all present, but with them in here now, I think this should be Vertex's fight. Should be able to clear this up, I feel. Especially, yeah, this cavalry missing both of the Bronze Age upgrades. I feel like this should be fairly one-sided, although Vertex doesn't want to finish the fight. There we go. Waits for a couple more reinforcements. Again, the chariot archers were getting some good damage in, to be fair. Obviously, the camels don't have any base pierce armor like the cavalry do. So, just the scout left from the Tool Age armies. It's going to be able to have a little peer around what's going on around here. Maybe look for an overchop, perhaps. The wood cutters all over this side of the base. Vertex does need to be a little bit careful because he's not giving himself a huge amount of space to work with. You may want to consider trying to extend those walls just to give him like access to more of a thicker wood line. Because at the moment he's getting perilously close to chopping on through. And this forward TC is going to get taken out now. Again, Bongo taking a good eco lead. So even with losing this TC, he's probably going to lose a handful of these villages. Still going to have a healthy eco lead. Urbanization coming in just to double the pop space for those houses. And that'll free up a little bit. I mean, he's got plenty of room to work with, so urbanization, not the most important of upgrades really, but if you've got the resource to spare, I guess why not click it. But Vertex is on a little bit of a push with these camels now, and here we go. Like I said, Bongo is being forced to swap into the camel himself. Does have a good number of chariot archers in his favour though, and he is getting the armour for those. Small wall got built in time behind that. Vertex finally getting the wheel in himself. It's an 11 villager lead. And a slight military edge as well. Again, it might just be a case where that extra economy, those extra villagers, are just going to keep Bongo slightly ahead. In fact, the score says it's way ahead for Bongo, which I guess makes some sense. KD is equal. A few villagers going to get caught out here though. And I feel like Bongo's, I mean, he's trying to take this gold from the middle of the map, but he kind of needs to sort of secure the map more than he is doing. This kind of feels a little bit greedy of a play. I think Vertex has, no, we're just about okay with the wood line there, but getting close to the overchop. But Bongo's just going to try and go for the barracks now. Some of these archery ranges are going to get denied. The wheel did come in. Some regular chariots being built. They do slightly resist. Ooh, okay, we're just in. And Vertex is going to run. Villagers garrison the TC. What are the camels? They're coming back now. There is the overchop as well. So yeah, Vertex put himself in a bit of a rough spot. There is the metalworking is still missing from Bongo, so technically these camels are stronger for Vertex. This chariot archer's hiding himself away in a little corner a bit there. He deletes the houses to try and get the wrap around, although he doesn't really manage to get it. I think Bongo has I don't know, it's a pretty close fight. Some reinforcements from Vertex. I think it is going to be Vertex just cleaning up now. That was so, like, I didn't dare call that fight. It was very, very even. But in the end, pretty good trade for Vertex. But that said, lost quite a lot of... Oh, no, wait, no. This isn't good. This isn't good at all. Yeah. Yeah, and then the GG's called. There we go. So that was a fairly... I mean, I guess it was... we kind of skipped forward a lot in the early game because I was a little bit behind. I felt a fairly one-sided affair. Bongo just kind of recognised he had a very wallable map. Just went for that fast bronze. Extra TCs added in. And just, yeah, the macro boom. Vertex managed to get some decent trades going for those camels in the early Bronze Age. But I think ultimately... sort of just the weight of the eco led to the advantage in the military numbers, and then Vertex maybe didn't do the best of jobs trying to defend against the push in the end. He kind of, yeah, he's trying to get those military buildings up, and then the big wave of camels came in. Oh, sorry, I'm on like double speed again. Some of these villagers got caught out. So yeah, that was it with expansion it was going for. So yeah, both players sort of trying to go for these forward town centres, getting them punished. Yeah, these camels were trying to finish off this TC here, and Vertex didn't really react well enough against the camels here, and they just broke in. And like I said, even though he managed to get a decent trade in the end, he lost a lot of the villagers here, and then obviously Bongo was still building up more military behind this at home, just additional camel riders, and a whole load of extra chariot archers came in. Yeah, just the reinforcements coming in, and Vertex just didn't have enough left to deal with that. So 2-1 to Bongo. GG's to all the players today, and thank you everyone for coming along for these Showmatch games. Like I said, it's a little bit of a shame that for the Willalow event that we couldn't get any of our community players into play, especially Cool. I feel like that one's kind of like someone said, one of the moderators in the Red Bull chat said that Cool tried to join and he just got basically blocked out, which is like, we know the situation with CSDN. It's just basically him and his team crew that get to play the tournament, which again is a massive shame. But like I said, if we could try and make a positive out of it, hopefully some people watched the event and thought maybe I'll give Return of Rome another go. So if anyone is free in the next few days, I would encourage people to make some lobbies and stuff and try and be friendly to new people who are trying to track out the game. Because I know, like I said earlier, Age of Empires 1 is a very cutthroat game. So it's not the best of games for new players to get into, just because it's very do or die in a lot of the games. But yeah, I think that's sort of the positive we can take from the event, is just hopefully some new players try and check out Return of Rome, and we can try and get some of those on the Discord, get some of them playing some more team games and stuff.